welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to do a little weekend roundup of the Premier League games. It's international break, Arsenal are top of the league, and Liverpool are in crisis. So I just want to, round off a few of the main talking points of the weekend and see where we can move from here. So first of all, I want to talk about Liverpool and how their fans are so flip-floppy, and they're in crisis as such. And over the years, the narratives around football fans and who's the most insufferable, it always tends to come back to Arsenal fans and us being the most insufferable. And sometimes I genuinely believe it because I'm an Arsenal fan. I know I know how it is. I see what goes on in the media and in the fan stratosphere. But Liverpool make me sick, man. Like, one week they're talking about parades and quadruples, and then now they're screaming for Arne Slot to go. Do you know what I mean? Last week when they were scraping their wins last minute, it was, title challenge, champions mentality and all this other stuff. But now, do you know what I mean? Like, they're talking about, Arne Slot ain't got a clue. They're screaming for Mo Salah to leave. And, we all saw from the outside, you can't keep leaving it late. I mean, I remember they left it late against Burnley. Who else did they play? Left it late against Newcastle. Technically left it late against the Arsenal as well. But, it was bound to crumble, sooner or later. I mean, Galatasaray beat them in that midweek. Crystal Palace, and then now Chelsea beat them late as well. And, there's just question marks surrounding the squad, the manager as well. And, even their fan base, that's the main problem I've got. It's a long season to go. Yes, Arsenal are top of the league, but I thought we weren't a problem. I thought, there was no way that Arsenal, do anything. We're so insufferable. We don't win anything. We're the new Tottenham, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, if you guys are title winners and you're a title winning team and it's heritage and you know what you're doing, it should be a piece of cake for you. So you lot need to, as a fan base, I would just say, calm the fuck down. Yeah. It's only game week 7. Yeah. We're only in October, in international break. He's got time to work with his team. And we go again, or you go again. But anyway, I'm confident in my team, but I've also seen us, not keep up the consistency. But anyway, let's move on to the Arsenal. And what I've noticed about us, the Arsenal, is we're a team that look ready to go all the way. Another professional 2-0 win over West Ham. I can't get that out of my mouth today. What's going on? Very, very. It's a forgettable win, but in previous seasons it would have been, a lot of talking points around the result, because usually we would lose games like that when we need to capitalize on in the title race and build some ground or even overtake the team above us, especially if they've dropped points. But Newcastle the week before that, we've got it done, and this week at West Ham, we've got it done. And yeah, professional win. It wasn't flashy, efficient, and full of control. Gyökeres is starting to look like the striker we've been missing, even though he's not doing what I want him to do, which is score goals. But he's getting involved in the game more. He's linking up with his teammates, and he's battling with the centre backs as well. Battled with Mavropanos, and what people are noticing about Gyökeres as well is that he's become the new threat. And he's starting to have, let's say defenders double up on him, and it's opening passing lanes, and it's opening space for other players like Saka, and also like Trossard in the wings as well. So, Saka delivered on his 200th game appearance, Arteta's 300th game in charge. And yeah, this is what title challenges look like. It's a bit boring because we've always been title challengers these past few years, and it's nothing new to us. So we just need to get over the line this season. And I think with the squad depth and the rotations that I can see that that we have in our locker, it's more than possible. It's more than a dream to us Arsenal fans that we can get it done. So well done, the boys, top of the league. And, if we just stay calm and keep the emotions out of it, there's still a long season to go. We can definitely do something this season. Looking at Manchester City as well. Another thing as well, they look very, very beatable this season, as we know as Arsenal fans. And from an Arsenal bias point of view, we remember when they came to our ground and, kind of shell-shocked Arteta in a way, because Arteta set up the game, he set up the team to sort of control play and be a bit more rigid against, usually a very free-flowing, attacking Manchester City team. But how the tides have changed. They came to our ground and pretty much put 4-4-2, 10 man behind the ball, and said, you beat us, or 9 man, because Haaland was up front. But they just knew they couldn't beat us, and they said, you play football, you break us down, and it nearly worked for him, in a transitional phase. Fast forward to this weekend anyway. We're so used to Pep's sides being unstoppable. But this week, they, although they got the win against Brentford, I mean, they struggled a lot. Of course, Haaland got that goal. The cracks are still showing. And in the second half, if they didn't have Donnarumma, who knows? Brentford could be peeling out there with a win or, at least a draw. Do you know what I'm saying? So the title race is looking interesting. I don't really know who's in the title race other than Liverpool. And it'll just be interesting to see what happens after this international break. Liverpool have been slipping up. They're not really balanced as a team. I'm going back to Liverpool now, even though this is Manchester City's segment. But Liverpool don't look as balanced as a team at the moment. A lot of their games are end-to-end, and they keep leaving it late. But anyway, Manchester City. Rodri's injured again. And, that's another absence which could expose their midfield. So I don't see how City, they've been winning recently, but I don't see how they maintain these results. They're going to come across some hard teams, some hard games in the coming weeks. And they're still dangerous. But remember that aura they had, that invincible aura, where they would strike fear into their opponents, in the tunnel, essentially. It seems to be going from over by City, and it's just interesting to see where Pep Guardiola goes with this team in the next coming weeks and the next coming months, and what they can achieve this year. So I ain't complaining. The door is opening wider for the Arsenal to capitalise. So come on, boys. Who have we got next? We've got Fulham next, and hopefully, we can make something happen there. That's normally a game we drop points in. Or is it Palace next? I don't know. I need to look at the schedule. As we're looking around the grounds, injuries are about to define a team's season. And what I'm noticing is, especially with us and Manchester City, and from years of old, it's never really about who's playing the best football. It's about injuries and squad depth. I mean, too many years gone by where we're guilty of being, playing the best football in the league and looking the best, but 1 or 2 injuries gone, and that's it. Our whole game plan has to change, and we end up faltering. We end up falling by the wayside to whoever's running, whoever's on top of the league at the time. So, it's about who can keep their best players fit. At the moment, our Odegaard keeps getting injured, man. He's set like a really weird record at Arsenal this season. He's been injured in, I think, in the past 3-4 games. The 2 shoulder injuries, and now this meniscus, this MCL meniscus, this median cruciate ligament injury, the MCL injury that he sustained on the weekend against West Ham. And I don't think it's going to derail our season. I mean, we've brought pretty big this summer window. And Arteta, really, he could be back just he can sit back just rubbing his hands together, knowing that he's got players like Eberechi Eze in there. He's got Nwaneri who can come in now, and it's kind of good news for Nwaneri as well, because I was kind of thinking, how is he going to get back in his team? Considering Odegaard's fit, Ezra's there. How? But anyway, it's good news for Wanyeri. A bit more opportunity for him to play more games. Ezra gets a bit more of a starting role in the team, and I think well deserved as well. It's just unfortunate that has to come due to the circumstances of Odegaard being injured, and I wish him well. Obviously, that's our captain, and he was starting to hit some form, so I wish him well. And yeah, if I look at Manchester City now, I'm not really sure with their signings. I'm not sure they have a strong enough squad to let's say, mount a challenge on all fronts. It looks like the way they're buying is for the future, and Pep doesn't necessarily seem to be getting the players, the win now type of players and the players he wants. And it seems Man City are building for that, that transitional phase afterwards. So, with an injury to Rodri, I think it could definitely derail Manchester City's season. I don't really know too much about their players currently in the team. I know Mateus Nunes is there, who could probably fill in, but I don't really rate him as highly as I do, especially for a title charge. I don't rate him that highly. Let's see what they may do in January. And I don't really know how long Rodri's out, but he seems to be picking up little injuries here and there, and that tends to happen. You blow out a knee, you come back, then you blow out a hamstring because your body's unbalanced. You know what I mean? It's a bit like Saka the other day. He blew out one hamstring, he's blown out the other hamstring because, when you strengthen one muscle after being injured for so long, you end up causing yourself an imbalance, and then you pick up other injuries along the way. Anyway, Newcastle also losing key players. It's just, with this league, it's just going to be about squad depth. And I think, and I know, and everyone's starting to see that Arsenal have got the best squad depth in the league, the best key rotations in the league. Players can play in many different positions and still not lose too much quality. And if this year isn't our year, I know it's still early to say, but which year will be this year? Will be our year, And the last point I'm gonna, before I close off this video is, I'm just gonna say, from what I can see, the other fans are panicking, especially the Liverpool fans. And our rivals like the Tottenhams and the Uniteds, everyone's panicking about Arsenal. And that just lets me know that the title race is officially on. Last year, we didn't even really get to officially see a title race. And it was it was a crap season, boring season, if you wasn't a Liverpool fan. But it was boring, man. But this weekend, set up the Premier League after the international break to be a very, very interesting, I like that word, interesting deal of events to come. So, Arsenal are top, Liverpool wobbling, and let's see what they do. They got Manchester United, which should be an easy 3 points for them, but both teams need to win. Amram needs to stay in his job, and Liverpool need to stay in this title race if they're going to look to do anything to claw anything back. City start to look a bit human, and Chelsea are unpredictable. To be fair, where they are in the table, they should be a bit higher, but those two sending offs really, really put a dent in how they started the season. Yeah, man. So, the Premier League this season is starting to look very, very, very interesting. That's the word I'm coming up with today, man. But yeah, that was the Premier League weekend roundup. I just thought I would do a show more centered around other teams in the Premier League. Of course, it's going to be Arsenal heavy, Arsenal biased, because I'm an Arsenal fan and the main team I watch is the Arsenal. But what do you guys think regarding this weekend? Where does it leave Arsenal in the title race? What do you think about Liverpool's wobble? What do you think about Manchester City, their performances this season? And where do you think we can end up this season? So if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. That's it, 100 subscribers. It's not hard. So please, with your help, it'll just make it easier. 100 subscribers sounds very, very, very cringe indeed, but I'm just trying to grow this channel, and I want everybody involved, each and every one of you to help out, and there'll be a lot more engaging content. So if you haven't already, please like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'm XB, on to victory. Come on, you Gunners.